Have you seen this picture or a similar one floating around Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media you use? Because I sure have. As a math teacher in my, 12th or so year of teaching, let me just say that my explanation of what's happening here has changed over the years, and basically it comes down to the fact that this is a dumb question to ask because it is not giving us, just based on what's in the calculator, an idea of what's actually being asked of us. And that's why we're getting two different answers based on how the two calculators are programmed. So if you are thinking, oh, PEMDAS, right? I learned about PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses first, and then exponents. Multiplication and division are actually supposed to be done left to right, and addition and subtraction are done left to right. And the thing you got to understand with that is that it's saying that if I have 8 times 3 divided by 12 times 2, we're saying that in this situation, we do 8 times 3, then we'd divide by 12, and then we would times by 2. But even this is not a great question, because isn't it more likely that they wanted us to do the multiplication first, which would mean they'd either have parentheses around the multiplication to show that, or we could have been given this as a fraction instead, like this. Okay, and so if it's a fraction like that, then that means do the top, then do the bottom, and then divide. So if we take this problem and we try to do PEMDAS, where we go from left to right when we see multiplication and division, that actually means we think of this as having implied multiplication here. So on either of these screens, it would mean that we're doing 6 divided by 2, then timesing that by 2 plus 1. And PEMDAS says actually to do the parentheses first. So 6 divided by 2, and the multiplication symbol would stay the way they are. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then left to right, we divide and then multiply and get 9. So that's how the phone calculator is getting 9, because it's been programmed to understand PEMDAS as we teach it in basically middle school math and early algebra and things like that. And the Casio computer calculator on the left has just been programmed to think of this differently, and depending on what the intention of the problem is, it may have been programmed more correctly, because the one on the left is doing the problem 6 divided by 2 times 2 plus 1, where the 2 times 2 plus 1 is all together as a single division problem. Another way of looking at it would be to say that we'd have an extra big parentheses or a bracket to say, okay, do all of that on the right of the division symbol first. And so that's how we get this situation where we still do parentheses first on bottom, so that turns into a 3. But now we're doing 2 times 3 before we're doing the division, and that's how we get 1. So I've shown you the two different ways to get these answers, and the reason why we would get either of these two answers. And maybe you're thinking, okay, that's great, but which one is the right answer? And here's the thing. Without the information about what was intended in the problem, whether it was to test our ability to do PEMDAS or if it was us doing a fraction, we don't know which one is the right answer. You could argue either way. So the older I get, the more math I teach, the more I think we should just stop asking questions like this that are ambiguous, that we should basically, with PEMDAS, say if it's multiplication and division, do it left to right, but then not give these problems that are ambiguous, that will cause an argument on social media. That's just my opinion, but yeah, that's how we get the two different answers. neither one is more correct than the other, in my opinion, without the added information. So, thanks for watching.